Hello, and welcome to the Mental Funny Bone, Becoming the Gaster Girls. I'm Sarah.
It scares me every time you just start with it. I think that's why I mess it up every time.
I don't understand.
It's
So this is
shocking.
what, 30 some episodes plus a couple
Yeah.
interviews?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm
And a
not
couple of
exactly
times
sure how you're shocked by it.
I
I guess
don't
that's what
know.
I'm confused
I don't
about.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. All
Anyway,
right.
I'm Christine and I don't know anything about psychology other than that one class I had in high school with, oh, what was that guy's name? Do you remember the psychology teacher's name at the high school?
Why do I think it was Mr. Hearn?
No, it wasn't Mr. Hearn.
Because that's who I had when I said placebo, and I swear that
Right.
was psychology class.
It was different. I'm
Or did
older.
I make it up? Did I make that up?
That might have been psychology class. I had
How did
somebody
Mr.
else.
Hearn teach psychology? I feel like that's not right.
I
Mr. Hearn, he teaches
Was he the
gym,
gym
right?
teacher?
No, that was Chucky. That was Amor. I got them confused.
They look the same.
Is that what I was doing? That's what I
This
was doing.
is
Mr. Amor. And I almost called him by his first name. And that's not what I'm supposed to call him because I'm a student.
right. And we all remember his first name. This is where we're going to lose a lot of listeners because I feel like he was also beloved by many a child at
I loved
corporate.
him. These are teachers that I loved. These are teachers that were great. Gym teachers, really? That was
These
my jam.
these are teachers that I didn't appreciate.
I love them. I also like the English teachers.
I mean, these
I
are
got along with most of my teachers. There was only like two or three. That one where I went in and we just printed out pictures of the word feces and taped it all over the wall. I don't even remember who was teaching that class or what class that was.
Was it art? I feel like you had 9 art classes in
Oh, for
psychology,
sure.
and then you took a gym class. And you asked me, should I take calculus? I was like, I don't see how you're ever going to need that.
Why would you? Take that class where you carry that flower baby around all day.
What was that about? I have to disconnect my iPhone from the headset because it's
Oh no.
continue connecting and disconnecting forever.
It's making bad things happen. Okay, so yeah, Mr. Hearn taught psychology, so that I guess that makes sense. I don't know what Mr. Hearn's degree was in. I don't secondary education.
Yeah, can you still hear me? Because I think something bad happened.
No, I can still hear you.
Okay, all right, fine.
Placebo.
Technology, placebo. And I was so excited to take psychology class, so excited.
Mm.
And I thought that the guy who taught it, was some kind of gypsy magician who could
Again,
automatically.
the shit we make up. And there's a chance Mr. Hearn didn't even teach it. I made that up. I don't know. I'm fairly certain I've made a lot of shit up
I
or
can't.
forgotten a
I
lot
can't.
of shit.
I was just expecting him to look deep into my soul and understand me as a person in psychology class. And he was like, "What do you do?"
Placebo.
He's Gasser, what? And it was Jenny Steen. Jenny Steen.
Was he Aaron? Was he that teacher?
He was that teacher. I think he,
D nice.
you done messed up. Jaqueline. Jaqueline, it's the best skit. It's so funny. Immediately when we hang up, I'm gonna watch it on YouTube.
Mhm. And it's one of those that I could watch over and over again. If you don't know what we're talking about, just go online and I don't know, search Aaron,
Key and
D
Peele.
nice. You'll find it. You'll find it, and you will thank us for the rest of your life because you'll come back to that skit when you've had a bad day, and you will watch that and you will cry because it's so fucking funny.
What's the principal's name? Oh, Shaughnessy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
I
watch it because
can't.
it's super, super fantastic. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about mental health, but we're not professionals. You
Yeah.
should probably check out the links in our show notes if you need help, or you can dial 988. There you have it.
Sorry, I had to chug some Red Bull.
Yeah, I was waiting for her to say
Well,
something.
I stayed up late last night. Yes, ma'am.
There are so many things I want to talk about today, and nothing did I write down. Go ahead.
Do you want to talk about the Steeler game? Did you want to talk about my renewed passion for Steeler football?
Oh, because they're winning, or just because last night's game was good,
I think last night's
or
game
just
was
because you
good.
watched it.
That game against the Jets was good. I think it's because I haven't been home and when I'm home, I could give two squirts of piss
Shits.
about whether or not, like, the only time I care is if I'm going to go grocery shopping, because then I'll go during the Steeler game.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I have always been in love with the Steelers. Not always, but like in recent years, like after college. And no, I think I started liking the Steelers when we were in Arizona.
Because you're not
Or not that
there.
I didn't like them, but I was just never, it wasn't like a really big deal until then. When we lived in Arizona, that's when I became a true Steelers fan. In recent years, I have loved them for one reason,
What
and
is
that is
that reason?
TJ Watt.
I like him. He had one sack last night. And if you never watched a Steeler football
Hmm.
game, based on the commentary of the yappy people that talk about the football,
Hmm.
you would have thought that TJ Watt might have just got done walking on water. His
Yeah, he
job,
does that too. He does that too. Shut up. You're ruining it. You're fucking ruining it. He's amazing. Yeah, that's his job. That's
his
his job, but he
job,
does it really fucking good.
his job is to sack the quarterback, and he only did it
Now,
once last night.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to take it back. I'm going to take it back because you, the one who needs the continued reassurance that you're doing your job well,
Right.
let TJ have his moment. But the thing is, he's not just sacking people. It's a work of art. It's a work of fucking art.
Speaking of the Steelers defense, do you know Beanie Beanie Bates,
Not until recently.
what is his last name? Because I know it's
I
not
have
Booger. Bishop,
not a clue.
Beanie Bishop,
BB.
Beanie,
Beanie
Beanie,
Bishop BB.
I, Beanie Bishop is my favorite tiny little defensive
He's tearing it up. He's tearing it up.
ever to walk on a football field.
And
Um,
his name's Beanie.
his name is Beanie.
Fuck off. I love him. I want to fold him up, put him in my pocket, just carry him around with me everywhere.
Right. I love him. Need to
I'm going to
get
have to Google him and actually see what his face looks like because sometimes that scares me when I see their actual faces.
like,
I'm like, oh,
oh, you look
that's
mean.
not exactly what I expected you to look like.
You
That's
don't
not
like
what you look like with your helmet on. All I
little
had to type in is Bean and it came right up. Beanie
tiny.
Bishop Jr.
Oh, he's a junior. Tiny little
Oh,
football.
and he's adorable. He has a smile on his face. His little
He's
eyes are
so
barely
excited to be
open, but
there.
his yeah,
He's so
he's
excited to be there.
excited. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I need a Beanie Bates, Boog Bishop.
Beanie
Bish.
Bates?
I don't know why he's Beanie Bates. I don't know.
Wonder if I could get a hold of his what's that person called? Manager. Wonder if Beanie wants to be on our show.
He probably has some mental health things he wants to talk to us about. If we got
He's 24 and he's in the NFL. I feel like they all should have some sort of mental
like he clearly has anxiety that he tells everybody about.
there's
Um,
oh yeah, he's got to share it. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
make it
For
happen.
sure.
If we got Beanie Bishop on the show, I would piss my pants, like literally pee, like
And
a
then I
puppy.
get Beanie knows TJ. And I'd like to have TJ and his wife, his cute little wife, who was a professional soccer player,
And all
on with us. Yeah, and then we'll have the Watt brothers.
it'll be so fun. That's how we're gonna get
Mhm.
known. Um,
Yeah, for sure, for
so
sure. I get yeah. So
last
anybody
night,
out there, our 20
yeah,
listeners, if anybody knows Beanie, let him know that we'd like to talk to him. He doesn't know how to talk about mental health. If he could
no,
just
he could tell us about
come
his
in and say
struggles,
hey. Yeah.
walking on to the team. I don't know. I feel like in my head he just showed up at practice one day and
Mhm.
they were like on Major League where the Wesley Snipes just runs in his jammies. Like I think he did that.
Yeah, I guarantee that's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. Oh, I gotta
So
turn my
you're
my dinger because that me and my noise aversions drives me insane.
so last night during the second half of the Steeler game,
Yes.
I shopped for a gold sweatshirt with Play Renegade written on it in black letters
Did
for
you see? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
45 minutes. I could not find one.
Really?
I found a white one with yins written on it. I found a black
No.
gold Play Renegade
Oh, why do you want a gold one?
because I want a gold one.
Oh, we'll see.
Quit
That's
wanting,
just you
quit
being an asshole.
wanting what you want. I can hear you typing,
D. Yeah, because I
looking
have
for
these
it.
fucking these talons on my fingers. I can't type. And every time my finger hits the keyboard, it's like these talons on a fucking scratch board.
What I did find last night was a t-shirt that had the words dippy eggs on it.
Oh, I love dippy eggs. I found it right away. I found a t-shirt
Is it
right
gold?
away. Yep. It's gold. It says Play Renegade and it has the little Steeler
Nope,
thingies on
I
it.
don't want the Steeler things on it, and I don't want a
Why?
t-shirt. I don't know. I just don't.
You don't want a t-shirt? What do you want?
No, I want a sweatshirt. It's cold.
Oh my God. How about I just get one made for you?
Fine.
Here's a Play Renegade long sleeve t-shirt.
Sweatshirt.
And I feel like Play Renegade's my thing anyway. I'm the one who's yelling at the Jimmy Buffett band to play Renegade in Key West. I don't understand why they wouldn't. The fuck? Nobody here likes the Steelers?
Why are you looking at me weird? Play Renegade. It's a song by Styx.
let me pop another gummy in my mouth and see if that will help.
Of them in there. Collectively, as a fan base, do we decide that we like Renegade the best out of all the songs? Like,
I
what
don't.
happens? Like, is there a
Yeah, see, now I'm
DJ?
gonna have to look that up. Like, how did Renegade become
Like, is
our
there a
song?
DJ at the game and he's, nah, if we keep playing it, they'll get on board. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna do it. I'm just gonna keep playing it. And then like his buddy's like, dude, you're not gonna be able to bring that back. Like when we were in Arizona and we tried to bring Champ back, like we were calling
Chump.
everybody Chump.
Chump.
We're
Yeah,
trying to
we're
bring that
calling.
back, calling
We've tried to
everybody
bring
Chump.
so many things back.
Yeah.
So there is a story behind it.
Oh no. Can you tell it to me
Do you want me
concisely?
to read it? May I
I
read
don't
it
want
to
you to
you?
read it. I just
Because
want you to tell it to
it
me.
starts out with such a great line, though. The magic began on January 5th, 2002, during a playoff game against Cleveland. The Browns held a 17-7 halftime lead. By the beginning of the second half, they stretched it out to 24-7. The Steelers were lagging.
Yeah, yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay,
It's the
their
one
offense.
where
During the
Myron
commercial
Cope.
break, the crew at Jumbotron made a choice that forever changed Pittsburgh history.
Oh
As the
my.
intro echoed out across the depressed fans, everyone felt the sense of failure. Even the music controller gave up. 45 seconds later, the atmosphere changed. The screams of the song gave fans a needed wake-up call, and the stadium became alive with excitement. I think we won is the whole...
I feel like that doesn't
oh, this
sound.
is Tommy Maddox. Tommy Maddox is the quarterback.
Of course he was. I think this is the game where Myron Cope said fuck on the radio.
Oh, God, I really hope so. Pittsburgh ousted Cleveland in the fourth quarter. The final quarter was capped off with Chris fuck, and there
Won
you
it.
go. That's how it happened. Now I have to Google when did Myron Cope say F on the air.
He was talking about a player and he was like, fuckwad? Fuckwad?
Oh, but that's Fatamala.
I don't think it was
Fuckwad.
Fatima. I think it was a Browns player.
Cope say
Fuckwad.
fuck. This is going to become a new podcast. It's us just having random discussions and Googling everything.
Who knows? Chat GPT.
Yeah, this is going to be, nothing came up like instantly. So when Myron Cope told Dan Snyder to stick his head in a, okay, all right, we're done. But okay, yeah, here we go. There's your Renegade story for the day.
Right.
We have a newfound love of Beanie Bishop.
Love him. Can't get enough Beanie Bishop. Beanie Baby Bishop.
Yeah, I love it. And at one point on the Manning's ESPN Monday Night Football show, LL Cool J, I think it was the third quarter, LL Cool J was there. He's a Giants fan, whatever. But
Whatever.
Eli showed him a picture of himself, Eli, dressed up like a rapper with like chains. I'm fairly certain that LL Cool J pissed his pants. And how about that movie with LL Cool J and the shark? Remember that in Arizona?
And there was a lady shark brain surgeon.
Yeah, they gave the shark a really smart brain, and
Right.
then
Then LL Cool J had to find it and kill it.
right, and he was
He
the
was the
chef on the
cook.
ship. There were all sorts of things that just were terribly thought out. But man, LL Cool J, he saves everything.
There was also that snake movie with Ice Cube. Do you
Which
remember?
one? Anaconda.
Anaconda. There's
Don't
snakes
want
out there.
none.
There's snakes out there this big.
Then there's snakes on a plane.
So many things.
We could just keep going on. What's from the smart shark to the big snake to snakes on a plane.
Samuel L.
These
Jackson.
motherfucking snakes
Hey,
off this plane.
I was like, that's not a real movie. Is that an SNL skit? It was a real movie. Okay.
Went to see it only because of its name. 100% because Samuel L. Jackson was in it and the name of it was Snakes on a Plane.
We got, again, just to carry on with the stream of consciousness that we have going on here, we got a little slap happy at one of the conferences because we had been saying hi to people and talking about it all
Yeah.
day. And around 3:30, we started talking about Pulp Fiction and about Brad and his big brain. Sorry, that was work. Right. Um,
Whatever.
Right. So when Samuel L. Jackson is in the apartment and he and John Travolta are trying to get the money back from the kids,
Mm.
and they're like, "Look at the big brain on Brad." That's what somebody said to me as I was giving my presentation.
Big brain on Christine.
Right. They were like, "First, congratulations. Look at the big brain on you."
Did they follow it up with a Bible verse?
They did. Ezekiel
Mhm.
12:24.
I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and
Then
furious
furious
anger.
anger.
I sat in my room with that tape,
Hmm.
mind you.
Going
I'm
like
pretty sure it was
this.
a tape. It might have been a CD though. No, it was definitely a tape. Rewinding it to learn that because I thought it was just a line from a movie.
Right. 100%. Right. So we have this podcast, guys, where we have an outline for it that's the same every week.
We don't have an outline today though, and this is what happened.
Fan mail is what we do first.
Okay,
So we did get
we've
some
got
fan
mail.
mail. We do have mail. Mail this week, Misty.
Uh-huh.
So do you want to you talk about it because I think you might have read it and
I had to email Misty a while back. Misty was one of our earlier emailers. Yay, Misty. And I had referred to her in an episode and I called her Emily, which makes sense because Misty found us because of our mutual friend Emily. So there you have it. So I emailed her to apologize because I'm an idiot. She emailed back. You could cut this out because literally I'm telling a story like Noah. It has nothing to do with what I'm about to actually talk about. Um, fuck.
Oh my God. Yeah, carry out stream. The name of this episode is Stream of Consciousness. Fever Dream. Stop making noises. Stop it. Tell me what
Okay,
this email's about.
so Misty wanted to let us know about her second visit to the therapist, which I thought was fantastic. Her second visit to the therapist, and I'm not sure how much we talked about this when we talked about Misty's email, but hold on, my computer's telling me something, and I don't know why. Okay. Misty's sister died in domestic violence situation, terrible situation. And anyway, leads us to the story. She was in her second visit to the therapist, and the therapist said, if your sister was sitting next to you, what would she say about you feeling her death is your fault? Misty immediately answered, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. To me, this immediately made sense. I was like, all
Right.
right. And the therapist just sits there staring at her in silence. And Misty follows that up with, she was really blunt. She didn't mince any words. And the therapist said, oh, wait, are you saying your sister would tell you feeling this way is the stupidest thing she's ever heard?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's what she would say. And the therapist was like, oh my gosh, I thought you were telling me that asking you what she would say was the stupidest thing ever.
Oh no.
Yeah. I thought
Oh,
it was fantastic because I immediately was like, yeah, that's the sister's response. As the blunt sister that I am, that would be my response. So that made sense to me. But the therapist was, can you imagine that being the therapist and being like, wow, all right.
I guess that's how this is going to go.
So yeah, I love that. I love that story. And then Misty also followed up. She wanted to let us know that she really enjoys the dry heaving sounds
Oh,
that we
hi.
make during.
There you go. That one's just for you, Misty. Blech.
Yeah. And she was talking about Halloween horror nights at
Oh,
Walt Disney World. And there were some visuals and smells and whatnot,
do you remember when we took you to the haunted house?
which is what I responded to her. I said, I think this is fantastic because I too am a scaredy cat of all things haunted Halloween shit, which is a huge, not as scared. Like I love Halloween. I love dressing up. I do not like haunted houses. And I did say in my email back to her that we would share some of my haunted house stories because this episode will be released on Halloween.
If we're lucky.
It will be, motherfucker. It will be.
Look at the brain on Sarah.
I will strike down. Okay.
Vengeance and furious anger. I feel it.
Furious anger.
So let's skip to our growing up Gaster story of the week.
Wait, do we have any more fan mail? I just want to see. I feel like that was the only one.
To say to Sarah B/Sarah K that I thought that I answered her email, and when I was looking through the email just now, I can see that it's a draft. I typed it and then didn't send it.
I love you. I
Yeah.
do love you. Before we move on, I would like to share that Heather S., I think we could say her name, Heather Schaefer, also known as Kyle, Heather Kyle, wherever, however you want to refer to her, informed us about a little bit
The
more about
tic-tacking.
tic-tacking. There were buckets involved, and get this shit. I feel like we didn't really know exactly how the corn got into the buckets, but it happened. So that's fine. And we'll get back to that. My favorite part of the story of tic-tacking is the fact that they carried the corn around in tube socks. And even better than that, Heather had to clarify that they were clean tube socks.
I just love a world where to 7 male and or female teenagers was just roaming the streets after dark,
With
chucking
tube socks filled with hard corn.
chucking corn from the cornfield at somebody's house, and they weren't happy unless someone got pissed off.
If
If
the
they
front
chucked the
porch
corn
lights,
and everyone was like, "Meh, tic-tackers." Meh. But if the front porch lights came on, then it was fun. The
oh
terrifying
my.
part of it was the fun part. I just love I love that there is a world where someone's mom had the buckets ready for the corn.
And I'm mad that I didn't experience this because I would like to experience this in our early 20s with you. Because I feel like once that's the time in my life where I feel like I'd probably do it now, but I would
I would have done
definitely
it.
I would have waited until there's just like a fistful of corn left in that tube sock and then beat you over the head with it.
You would have homie the clowned me square in the back of the head.
This is what I thought of as we talked about it. Yeah. So I asked Heather about getting the hard corn off the cob because I still am challenged to understand how this is happening. And Heather's dad helped her with that and let her know that it was a challenge. I don't think we're really sure how it happened, but it was
Just
definitely a challenge.
you just pull it off.
But when you do this, I mean, it's round. It is a round, like it's not.
But you just got to get like a grip on one of them and then the rest of them kind of chuck off. I bet that's why it would hurt your thumb because you're like pulling them.
Oh, yeah. He said his thumbs hurt.
Right, because you're trying to get your thumbs in there to,
Mm.
I'm
So
assuming,
once you get it started,
then it's
you can
pretty,
get going.
yeah,
But getting it started, I think, is where I was
that would have been the bitch of it. Yeah.
stuck. Yeah. Okay. All righty. Yeah. So, yep. There you go. More talking about tic-tacking, and I did write down I want to learn the history of tic-tacking. Didn't get to that yet since Sunday though.
Plenty of time. I have two
Goals.
other sort of housekeeping announcements.
Oh yeah.
It's another episode of Bare Bones Banter. So, for
Mhm.
those of you guys who might not have seen it as you scrolled past it to get to this episode, we had a chance to sit down with Jesse.
There's no K. I mean, there's a K at the end.
There is a K.
It's a T, but it's
Petoskey.
Jesus,
Petkovsky.
for fuck's sake. Oh,
Jesse.
there is a K. There is a K. It's Putkoski. And I said it during the interview and was like, oh, that seems simple enough. But
Right.
now
I said
Pukowski,
like Kelly Kapowski.
Kapowski. I get where you were going before. Okay. But Pukowski.
Whatever. Jesse.
Okay. Fuck.
You're amazing. You do great work. She is the area director for the Southwestern Pennsylvania chapter of the AFPS. SP.
AFSP. American
Damn it.
Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
every time. I'm going to screw it up every time.
Yeah.
But it was a really interesting interview, and it was really interesting to hear how Jesse got to be involved in that organization and to hear about some of the stuff that they're doing. And to carry forward from there, I know that you've talked to them about doing some stuff with soccer coaches and at Montour and
Yeah,
all of that.
I'm waiting to hear back. I don't know if I've mentioned it on here, but locally, we've had a few student athletes, not in our school district, but neighboring school districts, die from suicide in the past few weeks. So I reached out to our soccer coaches and asked them if they would be interested in having Jesse and the group come and do a presentation. So it is now in the coaches' hands to talk to the administration. There's a lot of approval shit that has to happen. Hopefully, I will be getting some word and we'll be able to get Jesse into Montour in some capacity.
That would be amazing.
I
And
can say our coaches were overwhelmingly in support of it. So
yeah,
that just made my heart happy.
yeah. And I think the more we can talk, again, the more you talk about it, the less scary it is, the less frequently we have to hear people say, like it's something to be ashamed of or something to be hidden or swept under the rug when that doesn't really help anybody. And big shout out to Jackie Faircloth, bringing a couple of people together. So Jesse and a few of the administration type people at all our alma mater, Elizabeth. So looking forward to seeing more good things happen. So if you get a chance to listen to the interview, do it. And thanks
Oh,
again to Jesse. Uh-oh, what?
uh-oh. You
Uh-oh, what?
frozen, girl.
No, I'm
Okay.
still here. I'm
You
still here.
froze.
No,
Okay.
that'll be
Okay,
great.
you froze. Okay. Okay.
I'm
I
back.
hope you got me saying, "You frozen girl."
I did, yeah. It'll all be seamless in there.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't wait.
So thank you so much, Jesse. I really appreciate you taking the time and talking to us and really appreciate everything that you're doing out in the community. So yay, thumbs up.
Yay.
Good job, us. Also, a little bit of housekeeping. I have cleaned up a lot of the videos on YouTube. So
Ooh.
if you guys want to go out and check out some of our videos on YouTube, I tried to create a playlist, but I think I only created it for me and not to post on the website because my YouTube knowledge isn't that great. So keep checking back on our YouTube channel because you do have to see the facial expressions that we
Yeah.
make.
I feel like it makes it, I don't know. I think Noah was annoyed with it just because of the cutting up of it, because of,
You got to cut out the words. You can
I
still
don't
see
know.
what we're saying.
Yeah, but that's fine. Whatever.
Right.
Check out the YouTubes. And I am going to attempt to create an actual website for us.
It's all happening, folks. It's all happening.
We're going to do a newsletter or some shit. So we can send you emails that you'll never read.
Won't that be exciting?
I can't wait. I
I'm
can't wait.
gonna
I'm going to put little nuggets of information just to see if people read. I used to do that when I was on the safety committee at Geyer Printing.
Oh,
I was the
that's
notes
terrible.
lady because I was the only girl. So, of course, I was the secretary. And I
Oh,
would write shit in the notes. The one guy, we had to do a report because he cut his hand on the tape measure because he let it slide back across his hand in a manner that he shouldn't have. And I wrote in there, sometimes common sense really helps in this job. Then every once in a while, because we ate Pizza Hut pizza all the time during these, I would note in between the lines how many pieces of pizza everybody ate during the meeting, just to see if anybody read them. Because I figured somebody's got to read this and come to me and be like, hey, that's either funny or you're an
in,
asshole.
inappropriate. That's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to do that.
Yeah.
You can't
Mhm.
do that with us though, because we forget what we say immediately after we close our
True.
laptops
That is true.
on
Hmm.
these
Yeah.
episodes.
We're not very good at keeping track of what we've talked about. And when we have episodes like this where we have nothing written down, we're going to do this whole show again next week.
It's mystery.
We'll actually write it down for next week and then do it all over again.
Remember that fever dream episode?
Sheesh.
You're going to have to be more specific. Okay, so weekly catch up corner. I feel like we just did that. So I'm in Raleigh again because it's Olivia's last couple of soccer games, and I could catch two of them if I came down and stayed.
I love that. I also love that I sent her a little snap this morning to let her know that I loved her. And she
Oh,
responded and said, it feels weird that you're not here with my mom.
Right. It does feel weird and I don't like it.
I said,
Can't,
I don't like it. I would very much like to be there.
oh, do you know where we ate on Saturday?
Where?
We ate at that barbecue place downtown.
Oh, yeah, the barbecue place after moving that we went to. I love that place.
Thought it was an anomaly. I'm like, I was just really, really
Hmm.
hungry.
I
Oh,
don't think it was. I don't think it was.
Midwood, Midwood
I don't know.
Smokehouse. So if anyone knows those
Yeah.
guys, that they do some nice barbecue.
It was
Delicious.
phenomenal. And just the amount of food that we got
Right.
for the
This
price was insane.
I've eaten it 3 times because we got I got burnt
Yeah.
ends and I got 4 pounds of burnt ends. Right. Homer Simpson.
I love a burnt end. I'm not
So good.
slobbering.
Delicious. And a quick shout out to Yvonne and Mike for coming to Liv's game on Saturday.
Oh, yay.
Always super fun to hang out with them.
Absolutely.
Not a great results for the Pacers this week,
Eh, eh.
but between me and you, Olivia played really well.
Oh, okay. Then who gives a shit?
Right.
As
I was
long as
like,
she
I don't
played
care.
well, yeah, fuck it.
I was like,
And she
look
was
at
happy
that.
with her performance. That's all that matters.
And then she was complaining the whole time we were eating about how
Yeah.
tired and how sore she was. And I'm like, oh, that'll be fine. Just come over to the Airbnb and we'll watch the World Series. And she texted me immediately after she got back and she's, hey,
Mhm.
I'm going to the club.
Yeah.
I was like,
Okay.
what a miracle.
It's wonderful. Yeah, I had to explain to Owen yesterday soreness versus actually being injured.
Right. Your legs just
I did take him to the doctor. He did fall. He did hit his head. Okay, whatever. But
so good at parenting.
so I had to take him to the doctor because he wouldn't shut up about it.
Just like the time he broke his thumb.
And I figured this was his head and his neck, so we really needed to get it checked out. So I only waited 2 days instead of a week. And
Your thumb. I was like, what?
the amount of times that I had to say to the doctor, in hindsight, as Owen's telling the story of how he hurt himself, I'm like, in
It's
hindsight, maybe we should have gone to Children's.
to be fair,
Hmm.
I still say it now when I take Olivia to the doctor. She's in her like no, she's 19. But still, I'm
Yeah.
like, I guess we could have approached that differently.
I mean, I don't. And then last night he's, complaining about being his back and this. And I was like, dude, you are sore. We went to the doctor. We had the x-rays done. There is you're good. The doctor says you're fine. You were sore. This will happen throughout your life. And then I said, think about your dad. He feels like that every day. So anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Fakir Brown is the player's name that Myron Cope mispronounced.
So have you been looking for it the whole time? Like, how did you just find it? Did you
Because
text somebody?
no, I just remembered. I was like, what is
Oh,
Freddie Fuqua? And no, because he's a 70s
yeah.
player. He had the goldfish in the heels of his platform shoes.
I do
True,
remember. I remember the story about him. I don't really remember him.
true story. And I was like, it's not Fuqua, Fakir. And Myron Cope's like, here?
Fuck here?
And
Is
he's like,
that?
not right.
Is it another tribe? Like the where the fuck are we tribe?
Kind of, I'm guessing.
We're fakir.
Oh my God, stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now I have the YouTube clip of that, so I will put that in the show notes so everyone can enjoy Myron Cope going, fuck here, Brown? That can't be right.
You need to text it to me. I need to see it.
I will definitely do that to you. Do that for you, not to you.
Yeah, it's weird.
Sorry. I was
For you not to do anything to me.
reading
Blech.
it. Stop gagging. Okay, growing up gaster story of the week. So let's talk about the time we took you to a haunted house as an adult.
Yeah, because I feel like there's two haunted house stories that at least I remember. One is I say kid, but I was old enough to remember it, so I feel like I was probably too old to be acting the way that I was. And then the adult one. So I will let you tell, though. You tell.
I think the first one we went to a haunted house in Elizabeth, but
It
it
was
was
in a
the
fire hall.
Victory Haunted House. Does
I
that
can't. I. It was in one of our local fire hall.
right like an
Something.
in
Yeah,
I seem to remember
I
like
remember only one thing about it.
in the Buena Vista area of
Yeah,
Elizabeth,
I feel like that's where it was.
Buena Vista,
Beauty,
if you live anywhere else.
beauty.
Um, Yeah, I think this was like elementary school because you were in elementary school for sure. I think I was in junior high because I ran into somebody that I knew and I was mortified because I was with, I don't think our dad
I
was
just remember
there.
mommy being there, which is very confusing to me because I can't. They had to
Why?
have somebody. It had to be a group of us, and mommy had to be bribed with cigarettes or something because I cannot imagine, or just getting the fuck out of the house is what she was bribed with. Actually, she was like, you know what, we're gonna leave Jumbo at home and go to the haunted house.
It
That's exactly what happened.
it might have been a PTG activity,
Oh,
the Parent Teacher Guild, I believe.
guild?
Guild
I
at
don't
St.
remember
Michael's. We didn't, the
being at a
Catholic schools
guild.
didn't have a PTA, they had a PTG. So I
Oh,
think
I
this
do
was a
not remember this
PTG
at all.
activity. Oh, I remember. Your mom was real active in it,
Oh, she was the bomb.
active in everything.
Hmm.
Oh, hey, Gaster, your mom's here. I'm like, I know, she always is.
I
Um,
loved it.
you're just saying that because when she listens, she's gonna like you best for
No,
it.
I legit did. I legit do remember mommy being at everything.
Um,
Mostly because I got to leave with her. I didn't have to ride the bus home.
right. So I think we took you in, and you were definitely old enough where you should not have had a
Complete spastic meltdown.
like toddler temper tantrum in one of the
Hmm.
rooms to the point where the people that work there were like eyed staring at you and your mother. I think she had to pick you up and carry you out as like
They shut it down so I could get me the fuck out of there is what they did. They pushed us
in
out of a back door.
in her arms, I
I was
think.
as tall as mommy at this point, probably.
You weighed at least 85 pounds.
Yep, and I wasn't having one bit of it.
And I think I had to go with you, and I think that's where I saw somebody I knew from
Yeah.
junior high.
Yeah, that was super embarrassing for you. I'm sorry that I ruined your life so many times.
And I'm pretty sure it was a boy that I had a crush on.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Obviously, it would be.
In all of his mullet, tight jean glory.
They were probably acid washed. He
Percent. Yep. Yep. That's it. That was
and
it.
then when we were grown-ups, I know we were grown-ups because we had already moved back from Arizona, working,
Yes.
you were working on your degree in earnest.
And being a bartender,
Yeah,
which is
right.
the best job ever in my whole entire life.
If only we could go back. I was dating David, and
Mhm.
it was, I think it might have been the first excursion where I figured out that David took beer with us everywhere we go. Because I think we
It's
loaded up into somebody's car and he's like, where are we
mhm.
going to put the cooler? I was like,
It's
the what?
excuse me.
What are we doing?
In his defense, we were driving to West Virginia.
It is far. I was thirsty.
It was longer than 20 minutes.
After he put the cooler in the car, it wasn't like I was like, no, I'm not going to have
Oh
any beer.
no. Yeah.
Nobody else in the car was like, no, we're good. We're not going to drink
No.
before we
Mm-mm.
go to the haunted house in some scary prison in West Virginia that's
Moundsville.
famous. There it is. That's it. So we
Yeah,
go
I
there.
will never forget it. I will never go back.
We
Motherfuckers.
we we don't realize how scary it's going to be. We get in there and they shove Sarah into a prison cell and the door and then walk away.
Yeah, they shoved us in there and we were each in our own prison cell and they're telling us scary stories and I'm not liking it at all. And you're in the cell next to me laughing as I'm
Because I'm
legit
drunk.
losing my fucking mind.
You're
And there's definitely some spirits in there with me. I definitely was not in there alone. I don't give a fuck what anybody says or believes. Somebody was hanging out with me and just fucking loving life, laughing at me. And then they call out numbers and they didn't call out mine.
You and Zach Baggins were in there. Yeah, they called out mine. Mine door popped right open. I walked out and then we left you.
No, this is where no, my boyfriend at the time left me. You
Was
and
it?
Kimmy and Dale stuck behind. Don't you remember Kimmy yelling at the guy? I work for an attorney's office. You better open this door now.
We were like, you're okay.
I
You're
was legit
okay.
I couldn't breathe.
It's fine.
I was
She's
dying.
fine. She's fine. She's
I
having
was
a
not fine.
mental health issue. She's fine.
I was not fine in the slightest. It still makes my hands sweat
Right.
so bad.
Who was your, was it Kokomo? It had to
Yeah.
be.
I thought Dale was going to beat somebody up.
Right.
And I
Because
definitely
that's
would have let him. I would have let him beat somebody up. I don't give a fuck. Then we get out of it and they take us through the rest of it. And the rest of it was like a joke. Do
right.
you
There
remember
was,
that? And like people were popping out and I was like, fuck you. I was just to hell and back. Get the hell out of my way.
I had a panic attack, man. Get your fake chainsaw out
Yeah,
of my.
you were not scaring me, you 6-year-old douche.
And then we went to the bar after to talk about it. So
Yeah, I think I might have got drunk.
we were in our 20s. It seemed to be the thing to do.
I think it was a Friday, although Wednesdays were also really good for the getting drunk too.
It's a day to
It's
celebrate.
Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Sarah, why are you drunk? It's Wednesday. What do
I'm
you
a
mean
bar
why I'm drunk?
I'm a bartender. Of course I'm drunk on Wednesday.
Oh,
Re
shit.
Ridiculous. This reminds me of when we saw the Blair Witch Project.
Oh,
Will you please take us through this story? It's not a Halloween story, but I
but
feel like it
man,
is.
it is a perfect example of what a puss I am. Because I would still act this same way today. Because it was frightening. Okay. Now that we know things, but like when we first saw it, I didn't know what Blair Witch, I didn't know anything fucking about it. We
No,
walked in, I thought it was just a regular ass fucking movie. I didn't. And then it starts, and then there's videos, and then there's snot, and then there's kids' hands, and there's what the fuck is happening? Like
right.
it was a lot
Like
of scary fucking shit.
I remember sitting in that movie theater looking around, what is this a documentary?
Like you were even freaked out. Don't tell
No,
me you
no.
weren't.
Oh,
Like it was fucking freaky. Now, granted, you handle your freaked outness way better than I do, but I was scared to death. I cannot believe I walked out of there with dry pants. I honestly cannot.
right.
It took all three of
Frightening.
us a while to recover. We had to go drink after, which I know. Okay. We were going to do that anyway. But it was a much more intense drinking experience after the Blair
Right.
Witch
Like
Project.
we didn't go to a club. We
No,
had
we
to
just had to
take a step
sit
back.
and talk about what we just saw and try to process it and then find out it's real
I'm
because
like,
that's what we it's real. It's
this is
that really
real.
happened. That's legit. Like this fucking happened. So at the time we were living in a tiny apartment. I was sleeping on your couch.
Because it was
You
summertime.
were you were in your bedroom with your first husband and I was sleeping on the couch and it was scary out there by
Can you
myself.
let me in? I was like, what? Yeah, come on in. What's up? And then you just crawled in the bed and you stayed there. And I look at Mike and Mike looks at me and I was like, so this is happening. Not
I
in the
was
not in the good
21.
way.
Not the way you were hoping.
Right. Not the way you've been thinking about for months, I would imagine. But yeah, in this very different, fine, in this very different, fine, I'll sleep in the middle kind of way.
Yeah, I
That
couldn't sleep on the couch by myself and I couldn't even sleep on the floor. The floor was probably fucking filthy. So in my defense, it probably
goddamn
wasn't an
clothes
option.
everywhere.
It wasn't an option. Yeah, no, I had to sleep in bed with you guys. Maybe
Right.
for a couple days.
No, it was just one
Was
night.
it just the one night? You put a stop to that.
I was like,
We gotta find you a boyfriend. Get the fuck out of here.
let's call Hobbit Steve and see if he's available.
Him and his hairy little feet.
I feel like after we can't find Hobbit Steve, we'll call a couple of those people we slept in a van down by the river.
We're never gonna. Oh wow, so many
Right.
great stories. So many great stories. So yeah, that's. I am a chicken shit.
Hmm.
To this day, I am a chicken shit. Noah and I just a few months ago watched some. It wasn't even. It was a movie. Of course, it was about a serial killer and yada yada yada. I couldn't even take the dog out. Like he had to come out with me to take the dog out.
This is
Or I took
hilarious.
the dog out and came in real quick. Like I was
Like,
like, I can't
can't
do that. I can't do that. I can't be out
can't do
there.
it, can't do it. Um,
Mm-mm.
so this is just a little note about how your brain changes when you have babies. That I based part of my personality on liking horror things, like
Mm-hmm.
gross things, Stephen King, scary things. I liked all of it. I liked it when the guy got eaten in Jaws. I
You
thought
did.
I thought watching The Godfather and all the violent, bloody parts, I thought that was amazing. I was like 8. And then I had a baby, and just the idea of watching a scary movie or a gross movie turned my stomach. And it really changed since. There's a whole
Yeah.
lot of horror movies that have come out since then, and I have zero interest. Like, I'll still read a Stephen King book, but I think mostly because his stuff now isn't, you
That's
know,
different.
it's, yeah. But yeah, that is also a weird thing about how your little brain you squeeze out a baby. Just
Yeah.
FYI for those of you, for our tens and tens of listeners that don't have children,
Yeah.
that's what
I'm just thinking
happens.
about squeezing one out soon. That's what you're
Uh,
gonna lose.
You're gonna
You're going to lose that and the elasticity in your tits.
that they're just liquid now. They just take the shape of whatever container they're in.
And I feel like nobody told me that. Maybe I should have known, but everybody told me everything else. But the day I had to roll my boobs up into my bra, I was like, what? Nobody told me this. Nobody told me this is what was going to happen.
No. And I don't even roll them up anymore. It is literally just pouring them into, that's why they call
Yeah,
them cups.
exactly. Not cuffs either. It's cups. Those are
Cup
legit
with a
cups.
P,
Mhm,
with a P.
mhm.
All right, let's talk a little bit 10% happier. What did you read? Did you read anything about the meditation retreat? Because I'm going to sign us up for one.
Did you read it? Because you
Yeah.
were supposed to read it over again.
Yeah, I read it over again. I
Okay.
read it. I
Yeah.
read talking about the Buddha and the guy who's leading it, the one Jubu who's leading it, and Dan Harris stays with him for a little bit, and then he starts talking a bunch of BS, and Dan Harris is like, "Fuck this, it's the same shit." Um,
He's legit. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so here's what I took away from this chapter. I hope those things don't cost like $20,000 because we're gonna do one.
Okay. We have to sell some t-shirts first. That's
Right.
what that'll go towards. Okay.
Because I want to see the two of us in a location where we can't talk. Can you
No,
imagine?
we'll have to go to separate ones. There's no fucking way we can go to the same one. There's no fucking way. There
I'd
is
be
none.
like,
We would get kicked the fuck out and blacklisted from anything meditation wise ever. There will be no chance of me ever meeting Dan Harris. It will ruin my dreams. We can't do it. Do you remember the time we tried to do yoga in your little apartment?
yes,
I ended up sitting on the couch smoking cigarettes watching you.
classic,
Yeah,
classic.
no. Mm-mm.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to go to separate ones, but
I
it's
do want to go to one, but we absolutely cannot do it together.
amazing to me. This is after Dan Harris has been doing yoga. This is after Dan Harris has been doing meditation for a
A
year,
year.
and he can't get like two breaths into it because he's so
Mhm.
by the saliva in his mouth was my favorite thing.
And
They
I legit was like, "That's a thing. That's definitely a thing. That is, it's a thing. I get it. I get it." Hmm.
But it like watching how terrible he feels at the beginning and then watching his journey through talking to this teacher and talking to that teacher and understanding that a lot of the reason you think it's terrible is because you're trying to do something and you should not be trying to do anything.
Hmm.
And the fact that you and I are so action oriented, that makes all of this hard for us.
Yeah, yeah, very much.
8 minutes of meditation. And out of that, I probably actually meditate for two. And the rest of it, I'm like, hey, don't do it. Hey, hey,
Well,
that's a thought. Hey, that's a thought. That's a thought. That's a
yeah.
thought.
So that was the thing I thought was really interesting, and because you know me, like the words I read them, they come in through my eyeballs and then out through my ass immediately. I
Gross.
forget things out of my ears. I don't know, out of my nose. I don't know, whatever. They leave my body really quickly. But one of the things that grabbed my attention here was at the beginning, if you look at his italicized words, those are what's going through his head while he's trying to meditate. And at the beginning, it's thoughts. They're actual thoughts. And then after he catches on to this, oh, wait a second, I'm trying too hard. I need to just be aware. And so then you look at his italicized words after that and their awareness, and there's a distinct difference. And I know
Oh,
this might sound basic to you,
no.
but it was a big revelation to me because there's a distinct difference between them.
Right.
Like at the beginning, sorry, you're going to hear my book. Sorry, sorry, sorry. But at the beginning, of course, I go too far. He's like in, out, in, out. Holy crap, I think my feet are going to snap off at the ankle. Come on, dude. It feels like a dinosaur has my rib cage in its mouth. I'm hungry. It's really quiet in here. Did I just hear a bell? Is that a bell? No, it's not a bell. Shit, shit, shit. Fuck, there will be no break in here. These are all his beginning thoughts. Wonder if there will be more of that fresh bread at dinner.
Oh, that will always be my thought.
Yeah. Did someone actually invent and patent the sneeze guard? Or like math and language, was it devised in several disconnected civilizations? But then you go to where he had this meeting with what's her nuts, who was that Spring. And she tells him, "You're trying too hard. You need to just sit and just sit with whatever's there." And it's, oh, wait a second. So it's not that complicated. I was just making it complicated. So then the next time he sits, the difference is now he's conscious in what's going on, and it's just a thought of neck pain, knee pain, airplane overhead, bird song, sizzle of rustling leaves, breeze on my forearm,
Yes.
hands feel stiff, bird, feet numb. But it's not, wow, I'm having neck pain. Wonder why I'm having neck pain so bad. Am I doing it wrong that I'm having the neck pain? Oh, there's an airplane overhead. Wonder what type of airplane it is. Are
Where's it
there people
going?
on the airplane? It's not that. It's neck pain, knee pain, airplane. Like, you're just going on. And eventually he writes it as if it's the one word, like feet, bird, feet, bird, feet, bird, back, feet, hat, back.
Feet bird.
But that was, again, it might sound elementary to some, but that was a huge takeaway from me in this, because in
Yes.
my meditation now, I'm doing 15-minute meditation pieces with Peloton. And I did 7 days of 10 minutes. Yesterday was my first 15 minutes. The majority of the time, because one of the things she tells you to do is when you feel your mind going, that you just need to calmly breathe and say to yourself, think, and bring it back in and concentrate on your heart and where your energy is coming from, blah, blah, blah. The majority of the time, I'm going, think. And then I get back and I get there, like tingly hands. Like, I get there, but the amount of time I stay there is extremely small.
Right. I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
And that was the other thing, is like, he goes through this period. So he has this like epiphany that he's figured it out, and
Right.
he has these moments that are just amazing after this, some huge clarity, and then it goes away, and that's what the whole process is. And he refers to that awareness as the choiceless awareness. But when you realize that, and I think I've said this before, it's like a sport, it's like a language, it's a musical instrument. Everything that you do requires practice. You didn't just,
Right.
unless you're some prodigy or something, you didn't just sit down at the piano and play some insanely beautiful song. You had to learn, what are they called, the keys, the scales. You had to learn all of
Yeah.
that shit. You have to do that. So I can say that in my 10 minutes that I've been doing, in the 15 minutes, I have not once thought, when is this going to be over? Like, I've gotten to the end and been like, oh wow, we're open, we're fluttering our eyes already. Are we fluttering our eyes? Oh my goodness, we're fluttering our eyes. Okay.
Exactly. Hang on a second because I have something important to say there, but I am
I'm done. I'm
also
done.
going to pee my pants.
Oh, don't pee your pants. I don't want you to pee your pants.
Right.
Peeing
I'm
your
going to,
pants isn't cool. I don't care what anybody says. Are you on mute? Did you mute yourself? Because I can't hear you. I'm assuming you're on mute. Nope, she broke something. You're on. Oh, nope, she's shutting herself. Oh my, I don't know what she's doing. I'm
hi,
commentating it all for
hi.
the audience, though.
That's great. That's great. I was going to tell you, if you're
Uh-huh.
quiet, this will just cut itself all out when it takes out the pauses. I'm going to mute myself and go
Hmm.
pee.
I did it. I was quiet the whole time. I meditated for 3 seconds,
And then talk to your brain and said, hey,
and then a squirrel went through my brain. I
hey.
was like, whoo.
Huh. Okay, good, good. Sorry. But here's what happened to me while I was meditating that I wanted to share with you. Instructions during the meditation are to like find where you feel your breath and then concentrate on your breath, right? So I'm doing that. And I then make up more instructions for myself because obviously, with my decades of meditation experience and having
Hmm.
ingested parts of the Buddha along the way, I
Yeah,
know better about how to
of course you
meditate.
do.
I'm like,
Of
I
course you do.
think this is maybe your problem with meditation is that you don't get
Oh,
to,
shit. The family just got home. Give me a second. I gotta close the door.
okay, like I don't get to decide the meditation.
Yeah.
Just meditate.
Yeah.
Don't make it complicated. Don't be like, oh, we have to have a mantra. Because that's what I did. I was like, I don't think I'm going to just concentrate on my breathing. I'm going to give it an and an ah and why,
No, and sometimes you do that.
why,
Like,
Christine,
yeah, you don't have to, like, sometimes you do that, but
just do it. And then I would feel like I was meditating pretty good. for 8 seconds. And then I would be
Mhm.
like, I'm doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
Yep.
okay, good job. Good job, Christine. You're doing it. Here's your kudos. Now go back to breathing.
How
Good
do you
job.
feel when you're done? Like my girl, it's always now slowly flutter your eyes open. How do you feel when you flutter your eyes open? Do you close your eyes first of all? Because I know some people can't. I normally can't, but when doing this, I seem
I
to be
gotta
okay with it.
I gotta ease into the eyes closing. So when I find a comfortable position, start your breathing. Find out where your breathing is. Like gently close your eyes. Like I have to sneak up on the eye closing. So
Another thing I did differently is when I started, I actually now only the last two have I sat up. I found a very comfortable space downstairs to sit up. But I've been laying on the floor because I originally just sitting up was like annoying to me and I wasn't getting anywhere. So I started laying on the floor and that seemed to help me. But because I remember being told there's no rules.
right,
So that was what I needed to do to get started. And it's starting to make sense. It's still obviously full
right.
9 days into it.
Let
My
me tell
world,
you
my
how to
life
do
has
it.
changed. So plenty of ways to go, but it's making more sense. Like I can see the progression in my brain of this is a bunch of bullshit. I will never be able to do this to gaining confidence. Like these 15-minute sessions, I'm pretty sure that's as long as I'm going to go for a while because I need to work on it before I do much longer than that. But I'm very pleased with it.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. And when I'm done, I feel the same way I do after a yoga class because that's how you spend like the last 4 or 5 minutes of the yoga class. You're just laying there on the floor
Yeah.
like a turd and you're just finding a comfortable position and going through scanning
Yeah.
and
That's what when I'm done, and this is going to sound real kooky, here's one of those things that you're like, bullshit. When I'm done, I never forget where I am. Like, I always know I'm in my living room on the floor. It's not like I forget that. But when I'm done and I open my eyes and the lights above and I take in what's around me, it's almost as though I did forget where I was. I
yeah,
know that might not make sense to anybody, but
no,
that's the feeling. I'm like, oh, okay.
here
That
we
was a
are
nice little
anew.
break. And now let's move on.
And then what I like is after I'm done with the meditation, there's 3 or 4 little things I can listen to that are about meditation. So
Oh,
it's not necessarily a guided meditation, but it's more of,
yeah.
hey, here's how this philosophy lines up with this thing. Here's why we do this mindfulness thing. And here's the kind of like the neuroscience behind it, which I
Yeah. Is that
most.
part of your app?
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
what's it called? I can never
That's
remember.
okay.
Waking Up is the app
Okay.
that I'm using. You're doing the Peloton app,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's one of the Peloton workouts. The Peloton thing that we pay monthly for the bike and the tread. It's one of the things included. All sorts of meditation and yoga, but that's the other or meditation and workouts and stuff. I said yoga cuz I think I'm going to start doing yoga now. If I can sit and for 15 minutes and like meditate, I think I can try some little bit of yoga.
Yoga's fun. I
Yeah.
also got told by my doctor that I needed to do something else that wasn't just yoga. I felt
Oh,
judged.
I also walk. I haven't been walking because I'm terrible because I'm getting out of my routines. But
Right,
anyway, that's a whole other.
we gotta refresh some atomic habits.
Yeah, I definitely need to. I definitely need to.
All right, let's do
But
that. Let's do that for next week. I
okay,
want you to refresh a habit and do it like 3 times.
I can do that. I can
And I
definitely do
will,
that. I did love this chapter. I did love this chapter and watching the progression of it, and then the
mhm,
I the up or the down, and then the up, and then down again, and it's just a reminder that's just how it's not going to be perfect.
right,
And even at the end of it, he still has a shit ton of questions, which we all do.
right. And the more I do it, the more interesting it is for me to understand changes in brain chemistry, right? Like
Yeah.
we were like, those are the things that kind of hook me in versus the spiritual Buddha kind of stuff. And it's fun for me to watch somebody be a kind of religious skeptic and come
Yeah.
into this and learn to appreciate some of the Buddhist teachings about it,
Yeah.
but also really connect with people who are scientific and listening to the
Hmm.
podcast and the array of sciency sort of people like
Yeah.
that come on the 10% happier podcast and talk about actual changes in brain chemistry that come along with this make it feel real to me.
Yeah, for sure. That makes
And
sense.
it doesn't have to
I,
be Buddhist, and it doesn't have to be spiritual, and it doesn't have to be nature related.
I like
Although
science.
your
Science is
brains are
cool.
nature, so I mean, I like that piece of it. And I like the
Yeah.
fact that I can relate it back to the exercise. Like I can't see the effects of exercise, like I can't see the effects of doing the yoga, except for that I can sit crisscross applesauce without my knees falling out of my body.
Great.
So, yay, you're going to do yoga. I'll tell you my
Give
yoga.
it a shot.
Do you have the yoga on the Peloton? Because I have an app for that
Mm.
too.
No,
And
I have it all on the Peloton.
uh, I did it on this TV because I figured out how to share it on the TV.
Ooh,
And it was just like I was at class, except for there weren't a lot of
other
people who are
people
better
there.
at yoga.
I have yoga blocks and all kinds of shit.
Mostly I'm just leaning on the coffee table.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But
All right,
alrighty.
I'm off to Target to buy Olivia an air fryer.
Awesome. I am going to go put together my new refrigerator.
So exciting.
Yay. And move all the food back upstairs so we don't have to walk downstairs when we want creamer for the coffee.
Makes sense. Makes
Super excited. All right. I'm digging it. I'm digging everything we're doing. Love you. Bye.
Love you.